It's only 20 miles. How bad could that be? So I'm checking, using my camera to look at my back. Looks like I still have my tripod. I see a leaf in the camera mount. Hey, let's talk a little bit about Alone. I'm not a TV watcher. I'm a YouTuber. I like to watch YouTube videos. I guess I just can't stand to be, so much of the stuff on TV is just stupid. You know, you watch Naked and Afraid, and it's like, this would be so much more interesting if it wasn't for all the stupid emotional stuff. If it wasn't for the lack of tools, the nakedness, what does it say about those producers that they think they need to titillate you sexually to get you to watch what's effectively a nature and survival show? I'm more interested in how good somebody can live. How can they raise their standard of living? And when you look at Alone, these guys are starting out pretty low, but they have the equipment that they need. And they're, some of them have failed. Some of them are doing better than others, but they're improving, constantly striving to improve their situation, which is fascinating. It's funny. Early on, my two favorites were Alan and Mitch. I guess what's the young guy's name? Sam and Lucas. Now that we're down to 4 guys, it's hard for me to pick a favorite now. All 4 of these guys are badasses. And I don't mean that in a fight sense, but I just mean their knowledge and skill set, their ability to endure. I wouldn't worry about being lost somewhere with those guys. A lot of what I'm paying attention to on that show is their mental status. How they're coping with problems, whether something makes them want to give up or not. Some of the early guys, they ran across a problem, and that was it, man. They didn't try to improve their situation from there. Now, I don't mean that in a critical way. Some of those things, losing the fire steel was pretty serious in that wet environment. And he's probably right. He cut his suffering short. That would have been a deciding factor. But, I don't know. It's a fantastic show. Let's face it. A lot of the guys that are involved in this bushcraft hobby, we want to think we could do something like that. We can see ourselves doing something like that, but, the reality is, few of us have a strong enough skill set to actually do that. I imagine all of us would like to test ourselves, but I'm not holding any holding out for any hope that I would have made it this far. Although it would be fun to try. But when you look at each one of these guys and they come to a stumbling block, and you look at that stumbling block and you think, man, I would overcome it this way, I'd overcome it that way. But understand, it's an accumulation of stressors. It's an accumulation of problems. Their days are completely full with gathering food. And a problem, if it's large enough, could make it to where they had so much to do during the day that they just really couldn't survive very much longer. This last episode number 7, Mitch loses his gill net. Now, his personality, man, he's so unflappable, so calm. You know, it's amazing to me how easy he seems to take everything. You never hear a tremor or a quiver in his voice. You know, he's the real deal, man. I mean, he's not going to let his emotions get a hold of him and ruin this for him. I hope that he's not the next guy to tap out. You look at Alan, he probably started with the best amount of resources around him for food, but he's constantly been expanding that. You know, he started with the limpets, then the seaweed, then the kelp, then he made the bottle traps, and he thought he was just going to catch bait, but he actually caught enough food to eat and have bait. Then he built a bigger fish trap. I anticipate he's going to build more fish traps. So he's increasing the vectors by which he's getting food. And I feel like I'm seeing him do more things for the future than the rest of them. He has the best food sources. I think he had the best opportunity, but he's making the best of it too. And in the end, that may be the thing that really decides this. Lucas building the canoe, I mean, that was phenomenal. I had a tear in my eye of joy when he floated that thing the first time. You know, how wonderful that must have felt. It's phenomenal. Well, I got a lot of walking down this track to do. One of the things I got to watch is the health of my feet. 2 bushcraft meetups ago, we did a 10-mile hike that was downhill mostly all the way. And oh man, that 10 miles like killed my feet. So I noticed some of this gravel is finer than others. There's an animal off in the distance there. Probably from service vehicles rolling down through here. So I'm going to take my time, pick my path. Oh, I'm sure I can walk 10 miles. But I don't know that I can walk 10 miles the next day. That'll be a real challenge. So I have to try to take care of my feet. Look over there at that beautiful park-like setting that I'm not allowed to be in. But if I could get across that river, you better damn well believe I'd be over there walking on it. Look at that beautiful path. I don't know if you can see it, but I can sure see it gleaming through the leaves. They keep the grass mowed over there. Do all kinds of beautiful things for the city employees. And you know, as citizens, we own that area, and we have to pay for it. But it's funny, we're not allowed back there. That, my machinist friends, is a friggin' lock washer. Holy cow, it must have a inch and a quarter. I don't know if you can see it at the end of my foot there. Inch and a quarter hole in it. All right, I'm up here to where I need to get off the tracks. I can't see any way to get off. I should be on the bikeway. We're down by the river at this point. This will be starting to take me the wrong way. And there's a lot of people going to see me walk across this bridge, which is not a good thing. You know, it would have felt like cheating if I had hiked some of this before I did it. But the hustle bustle, busyness of life, it's hard to find time to do those things. Barely found time a weekend to do this. Now hopefully I can climb down here somewhere. Dog? Ooh. That doesn't look like a dog. Maybe it's some kind of deer. Something was eaten here. There it is. Here's the collar. It was a dog. That's what it looked like to me. Don't see any tags on there. It looks like it could be 1 or 2 years old.